Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
Today's episode is our Anime of the Year 2024 Deliberations, where we go through we already pretty much went through all the genres already with part one. So if you missed part one, go back there. Although there is a massive notation for the last episode, which we'll get into in a minute. But yes, we're going to go through all the remaining genres. We'll go through some special categories before we go into the seasonal picks and, of course, the one that everybody's waiting for, Anime of the Year for 2024. But yes, the notation that I have to put in here is we have a massive correction for part one. Every single year this happens, one show for some reason just didn't make it through the doorway. Like I'm letting them all in, and we're getting the list together, and just one of them just did not get through the doorway. They probably just
she was hiding in the corner.
Somebody got caught in the corner with some lewds of some magical girls. Hint, hint. But yes, the anime for this year that we forget in part one, like we typically do, is Gushing Over Magical Girls. And so that was a massive oopsie, because obviously Gushing Over Magical Girls was a very incredible show that was even on my top 10 list video. So we're going to correct that now. We're not going to put it in Slice of Life. I'm sorry. A certain somebody on the Discord, I'm sorry. I'm not going to put Gushing Over Magical Girls in Slice of Life. Even though... Sabo, I'm joking. Appreciate you. We're not going to put it in action. I mean, you can put it in action if you want. I don't think it's going to compete with anything in action for me. It's not going in adventure. It's not going in fantasy. It's not going in drama. It's not going in sci-fi mecha. You can if you want. It's not going to go in horror and psycho. It could go in psychological, but I'm not going to compete with the other stuff that they have in there. Comedy. Yes, Gushing Over Magical Girl has to go in comedy. I would, if I have to alter my list, for those that don't know, it was Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian, Dandadan, Konosuba, Magical Girl, and the Evil Lieutenant, and then Makeine. I'm going to put Gushing Over Magical Girls at number 2. It's not beating Makeine for me. Makeine is just way too freaking funny. I will admit that Gushing Over Magical Girls had me laughing out loud so many damn times, but there was a couple points in episodes where it wasn't to that caliber. Whereas Makeine, the entire series was hilarious. So, Chris?
I did shift it into my number 2 spot for the same reasons. I don't think it was funnier than Torture Princess, but it definitely did knock down Konosuba and all the other ones.
There you go. Harem is definitely going on my harem list. I would put it again at number 2, again under Makeine. So that would put me at Chain Soldier, Tsukimichi, Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feeling in Russian, then Gushing Over Magical Girls, and then Makeine at number 1. Still.
I would put it at number 1, knocking down pretty much Tales of Wedding Rings and everything below that.
And ecchi, number 1. There's nothing beating Gushing Over Magical Girls when it comes to ecchi, and that was the one that everybody was yelling at me for. It's like, I knew it because I was editing the podcast, and I'm like, damn it, how did that? Where did I accidentally mess up my spreadsheet where Gushing didn't end up in all these lists? Because typically I'll put it in one list and then I kind of transfer it over to each genre. That's what happens? And so somehow it messed up over here. So when I noticed it when I was editing, I'm like, I text Chris. I'm like, I almost don't want to I almost don't want to post the just scrap the whole recording because we completely missed Gushing. Because yes, that was the one that everybody yelled out. Ecchi, and you didn't have Gushing Over Magical Girls on the list because I was arguing that it wasn't that strong of a year of ecchi. I mean, there's a lot of ecchi, but just good ecchi. Gushing obviously was. There's nothing beating that show. That show was lewd as hell.
Yep, and that's the same with me. It even knocked down Tales of Wedding Rings number 1 for me. So, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, Gushing Over Magic Girls number 1 ecchi. We fixed it. So everybody, we hopefully restored everybody's faith in us. There's a lot of people that were probably. I think I've seen some, but there's probably a lot of comments that were like, "You were the chosen ones." You, Chris, Andrew, you were the chosen ones. Of all the other platforms, we were even gloating last podcast where we're the only ones that'll have an ecchi category. And we messed it up, Chris. We're the only ones with the ecchi category, and we messed it up. We failed everybody. That's it. The podcast is over. Thanks everybody watching.
Okay. I'm gonna have to
shut down.
I'm gonna have to throw your guy who's setting up this, throw him under the bus. That's what we'll have to do.
It was Yuki.
It was Yuki.
Are you gonna do something? Look at
We're not gonna throw Yuki under the bus. No.
Nobody's gonna hurt Yuki.
No. You're adding it to idol. I don't know why, but I guess we can.
It's a magical girl category. It's idols. No, it's idols and bands and category. I thought we had magical girls. No, there was magical girls separate. No, I wouldn't put it in idols and bands. I don't know why that's over there. I think I was thinking magical girls, which is later. We'll get the magical girls. Anyways, that was a nice little tangent to get into. But yes, for those that missed it, we did a whole section of a bunch of the other genres. Now Gushing Over Magical Girls is in there. We'll go into other categories. Before we do that, of course, as usual, otakuspirit.com is where all of our links, social media links, ways to get a hold of us, ways to support us. Greatly appreciate everybody. The usual disclaimers, if you're completely skipping part one, is that yes, anything that is above 50 episodes is not included in this series of categories. They are disqualified if they have more than 50 episodes. We've given them plenty of praise, like Natsume's Book of Friends, given it plenty of praise. Danmachi, given it plenty of praise. All those shows, and yes, it has to end in the year of 2024. So anything carrying over into winter and so on of 2025, they're out. So things like Orb, ReZero, which I hate to do, but we'll suffer next year for... Next year's 2025 is going to suck because we'll have to have ReZero dominating everything there. So our next category is Isekai. Again, another one that thankfully here recently looks like Crunchyroll's finally adding to their anime of the year. So it only took them like 5 years of literally Isekai completely taking over the entire anime industry before they finally go, hey, we should probably have a category for that thing. It seems kind of important. Yeah, so anyways, Isekai genre, again, I have down in the short list Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, Instant Death Ability, Tales of Wedding Rings, Weakest Tamer, Ishura, Sasaki and Peeps, Fluffy Paradise, Isekai Onsen, that's not going to end up in the list, Tsukimichi 2, Konosuba, Mushoku Tensei, Seventh Prince, Level 2 Cheat Powers, Appraisal Skill Banished from the Former Hero Lives as He Pleases. That's not Isekai, is it? Or is it? I'm forgetting which that one is. Banished Former Hero Lives as He Pleases. Yuki, I know we were making fun of you earlier, but you got to snore.
Banished Former Prince.
That was the one where the dude... Yeah, that was an Isekai. That was the one where the dude, like, his father was kind of a jerk, and he got old enough that he could leave the house, and then he goes out there and immediately saves the princess.
But he was Isekai from another Isekai world.
Right. So, but it is another world, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same world. That typically is the qualifier for Isekai. It just has to be a different world. I don't know.
Because the world he came from forced servitude people, and he went into a world that didn't have it, but it was the people were still treated horribly.
That's a different one. You're thinking of the one, the fetish one, the level 2 cheat powers.
Oh, okay.
With the cute intro with Kujima, yeah. Dama-sama. Anyways, no longer allowed in another world. It's not going to end in my list. I don't know. Why am I debating this show that's not going to end up in my damn list? No longer allowed in another world. Failure Frame. Reincarnated as a Slime. 3rd season. Which is that beyond the 50 cap at this point? Because that's 2 seasons of 2 core, right? So is
that would be just under 48.
If they were all 3... No.
If it was 24 and 24, that would be 48.
And this is 3rd season.
If it's doing its 3rd season, then it's passed.
But do we count it once it passes? Because part of it was in the 25 or the 50. I don't know were they all 2 core? I want to say they were all 2 core. Reincarnated as a slime. Yuki, why are you so snory today?
Well, it did have OVAs as well, so...
So yeah, we've gone well over 50. Bummer. Tensura is disqualified. Again, we praised the hell out of it. It's a great show. Go watch it. If you like meetings. See, I don't even know if I would even put it in my list anyways, because this season wasn't like the best. It was not a good season overall. I'm looking forward to this next season though. I think it's gonna be great. She's a snory girl today. Like the last 5 podcasts, she's not been that bad. Of course, it's not picking up the mic probably. It's just like it's in my ear and I can't think.
It's distracting.
It's distracting as hell. Anyways, Loner Life in Another World, Demon Lord 2099, Villainous Goat, Who Wants to Go Down in History is our last one there. So, you got yours, so I guess you can go on while I kind of figure this out.
Isekai?
Yep.
On my number 1, I have Wrong Way for Healing Magic, or to use Healing Magic. I thought it was an interesting concept, and I did enjoy it when all was said and done. Number 4, I've got Fluffy Paradise. Cute, just absolute, just healing show that just works for an isekai. Does very much change the way that a lot of the isekais are kind of presented. So I think it kind of earned its place. Number 3 is Weakest Tamer. Real touching story. Absolutely love the underdog tone of that show, and I really do like the fact that it kind of presented its isekai in a different fashion, of just a kind of a little jingle off to the side, and that's all the isekai there is in that show. Number 2 is going to be Appraisal Skill. I really do think that is quite the show that kind of came out of nowhere, and is really kind of making itself a force to be reckoned with when all is said and done. It is doing the kind of strategy thing, but it's not kind of focusing on it. Instead, it's just kind of focusing on building this a team of very smart characters around this one main character, and he in himself is not OP, but he's kind of bringing a lot of things to the forefront. So yeah, that's my list.
I did not have too much trouble filling my 5 list and having anything that I'm leaving out that I feel bad about, which is a good thing.
I'm sorry. I missed Villainous is my number 1.
Oh.
So go ahead.
Reasons?
Oh, Villainous. I thought that one absolutely pulled off the Villainous kind of genre, and it really did focus on kind of placing her in this likable villain character, which is kind of not an impossible thing to do, because in a lot of cases what the villainous genre is kind of doing is presenting a different side to the villainous character. This one is actually kind of she's a villainous more because of her diligence, and I really like the way that they're pulling that off.
It's great that it has it almost like she is technically the only thing that can save them from ruin in a way, because everybody agrees with the female lead, whereas she's the only one that doesn't fall for it and kind of just pushes back. Makes her not think so naively. Anyways, I have mine as at number 5, Villainous, who will go down in history. I think that was a really, really great show. It was a great take on the villainous. I think it's like every single year we'll have at least one villainous show that does something that I really, really like, that's like super unique. Like this season for 2025 already, we have the old man, the 52-year-old bureaucrat is the villainous, which is already
pulling it off.
It's doing some good stuff. Every year we'll have at least one, and this year I think Villainous, who go down in history, was one of my favorites. I liked Villainous level 99 as well. That one was super good. That's an isekai too, isn't it? Was that last year? Where are you at? I know I have you in one of my top 10 lists. Yeah, you were in winter.
Yeah, but is that one really considered a isekai? It doesn't seem like she was an isekai.
Pretty sure she was an isekai. I'm wondering if that's the reason why it's not on my list. I'm pretty sure it was. She's in a Otome game. Yeah, because she was the hidden boss. That's right. I don't think it's going any higher than Villainous for me. That'll go down in history. So my question, the struggle that I'm having right now is, would Villainous level 99 beat Villainous that goes down in history? Yeah, I think it would. I really like Villainous that goes down in history because it has that element of her, again, pushing back to the main character, who seems to have an actual charm effect. So it does kind of play into the almost gamey nature, but making it feel like an actual magic. And I really did like how I liked her personality. But she does, I think overall, like an entirety of a show, Villainous that goes down in history does have some weak points, whereas Villainous level 99 does not. What was the full title, so I can get the full title? Villainous level 99. I might be the hidden boss, but I'm not the demon lord. That show was like, overall, was a really good show. I love her personality. The main character, Dolkness, Yamilia Dolkness, she's fantastic. So I'm going to put that as number 5. So Villainous level 99 is not even number 5. I'm sorry, Villainous, that go down in history. You're good too. You got your shout out. Then I go to let me put that right here before I forget. Then I go to Demon Lord 2099, and reasons for is I think that's not isekai. Okay, Chris, let me explain the beginning of Demon Lord 2099 so you can. I'm gonna let you make the decision. So Demon Lord 2099 opens up with the Demon Lord. He gets beat by the hero. And then while he is in slumber, because he's been defeated and killed, and he goes in slumber before one day that he can finally have enough energy that he can finally reincarnate. And when he awakens, he's got his right-hand woman right there. She's ready for him. She's like, this is the appointed time. She's already waiting for him. Brings him out into out to the surface and explains to him that while he was in slumber, essentially their world collided with another world, loosely hinted at being our world. The two worlds collided and merged into one, and then quickly advanced to the state that it is, which is pretty much like a cyberpunk looking world. Is it isekai? It's technically the same world, but it's merged with another world. I don't think I can call it isekai, because it's still technically the same world, same people. It's not like he's going to somewhere where he has to re-meet everybody.
Well, up until the point that you had said merged with another world, I would have said it's a reincarnation story.
Yeah.
But merging with the other world does kind of, he's waking up in another world.
I mean, it's like that, what was that one the previous year, the one with the stupid crappy CGI, and it's like, it's technically not isekai, but it's made out like it's isekai. You just don't find out until later that is not. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. Does Mal classify it?
Probably.
As isekai? Because it feels like isekai, because he's not. It's a completely different world. They don't classify isekai.
It's bordering on the edge of both of those, reincarnation and isekai. It's in this down the middle line thing.
Let's see what Google says. Google does
ask one of the AIs.
That's true. Gemini, tell me. Let me try Gemini because I already have an account over there. Is Demon Lord 2099 an isekai? While it shares the same elements as with isekai, it's not traditionally isekai story in the strictest sense. Here's why: no sudden transportation. The main character isn't transported from another world. That's true. He's a powerful being that was awakening. Focus on adaptation. The story centers around Veltal adapting to a world that is drastically changed during his absence, and that's really where it's at, because like. That one, I think that was 2023 as well. That one with the guy that, like, he was one of the commanders of the Demon Lord's army, and everybody else kind of turned on him, and he goes out there to fight and ends up dying, and then he ends up awakening to some chick. He was in a crystal, and he's like, you know, cocooned in a crystal, and the chick shows up and saves him. It kind of felt like it, but then very quickly realized that, yeah, he's just technically just reincarnated in the future, while like everything's kind of changed around him. I'm going to kick it out. So that means that I can get my villainous goes down in history. This is the Deliberations. This is where we have to figure this stuff out, people. We don't pre-figure this stuff out. I mean, we do a little bit while we're sitting here waiting for each other, but for the most part, it's
that's like
sussing it out.
Plus size elf. Would you count plus size elf? Not that I want it on the list, but would you count that as an isekai?
Reverse isekai, yeah. Kind of like technically right now with Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf, that's technically they go back and forth, but it is another world to the elves. There you go. But yeah, I'm going to put number 5, Villainous goes down in history for reasons I stated earlier. Number 4, Villainous level 99. Again, absolutely love Dulkness. She's just a dork, and it's just a hilarious series. Number 3, another funny one, No Longer Allowed in Another World. I loved that show way more than I thought I would. It was probably, it's going to end up in my surprise of the year list, but it just was. I came into that show expecting it to kind of just kill the he wants to end himself joke that comes with obviously that character. Dazai. But yeah, it was much more enjoyable than I thought it would. It actually had a really good overall story and mechanics to the whole system, like what his actual power is and how it actually plays into who he is as a person. And just overall characters, it had a very Konosuba vibe to it, and I really enjoyed it.
I did really like the fact that it was changing the kind of hero aspect of most of your isekais and changing it from doing that to him not necessarily being overpowered, but being necessary to save that world.
He's an anti-hero, but not really. It's kind of funny. It's like he literally is a anti-Ing hero. I like that they actually get into each of the stories of the villains too. It's just a really good way of kind of doing all that stuff. It's, kind of short and sweet stories, really. The Sisters was a gut punch. Holy crap, that show managed to get dark, super dark every now and then. I was like, holy crap, that hurt. Anyways, Ishura is my number 2. It is technically an isekai. It's kind of like Drifters for those that watch that series, where in this world it's like mankind has just survived the Demon Lord. Like, Demon Lord has been defeated, but they're trying to find the hero that defeated the Demon Lord. They can't figure it out, so they're going to assign the hero. And this world has people known as visitors, which, yes, have implied several cases they are from other worlds. Like, they have this dude that's literally like in a tracksuit and everything, like kind of Subaru-ish. He kind of reminds me of Subaru for some reason. He doesn't act like Subaru. He's just kind of has that whole kind of jacket thing on, everything. And yeah, he's obviously like, he has the arts, he has sword techniques from like Japanese history. So it does imply the idea this dude is from Japan. So it's basically a bunch of characters all being isekai'd into one location and just crap in the fan, like brutal combat. Very, very Fate Stay Night-ish. So really enjoyed it. Love the series. Number 1, obviously, Mushoku Tensei. Big shock, right? Is actually more of a shock that it's not in Chris's list that I realized just now. I do agree with Chris, though. Weakest Tamer was a super unique show. I wish it did better for me, though. It kind of, at some point, fell off, but I really did like Weakest Tamer. And Praise Skill is good, too. But again, Mushoku Tensei takes the cake. It's an easy win. It's easily like... And I always say ReZero and Mushoku Tensei are just easily go down as like the most unique storytelling of isekais across the entire board. So they just... along with a Sense of Bookworm, too. Sense of Bookworm, Mushoku Tensei, and ReZero. Those are like the big 3 of isekai for me. So I know some will say like Tensura has to be in there, but those are my 3. Anywho, let's see. Mystery Supernatural. I think I'm alone on that one, aren't I? I think I'm alone on that one, aren't I, Chris?
What's that?
The Mystery Supernatural.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I...
Oh, you put Apothecary Diary? Well, yeah, sorry. What is your list, Chris?
Number 1 is Apothecary Diary.
There you go. For Mystery Supernatural, that's number 1. Chris is that. That's it. Oh, this is going to be a tough one for me. Yeah, I'm super... This is going to be an odd list for me because I think with these ones, they're obviously going to be more stronger in another department, even though some of them are really, really high on other departments. Like, dandadan is technically in Supernatural, this category for Supernatural, but I think the Supernatural element of it is extremely weak. But I still recommend people that are looking for a Supernatural show. It still has technically the battles of the Supernatural that still exist there. They get a little bit of lore of certain ones, like, you know, like the Turbo Granny, getting into her, and the location-bound spirits and stuff like that. So there's still an element of Supernatural, and that's very, very strong. It's a tie-in with the yokai, supernatural spirits, even getting the aliens and all that kind of stuff. Kappa. What else? I think I would probably put Witch and the Beast above it, though. I almost want to put Mysterious Disappearances, too. See, with Supernatural Mystery, I have 2 really strong contenders, and the rest are kind of like fighting for each other. I'll get the shout-outs. The ones I don't have on my list, Mysterious Disappearances, I really enjoyed it. It does, at some point, kind of fall off for me and kind of lull towards the later part. It does have like an anime original ending, which I thought was kind of... I checked the manga afterwards, and it was kind of a rough I wasn't too satisfied with it. It was fine. It was a fine ending for the anime, but it does kind of bug me that was kind of a cutoff point they put it to. But it was still a really good show. Really enjoyed it. Like the vibe of it. It has a lot of horror in there that I thought was really well executed. Tonari no Yokai-san. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that in the honorable mentions too. I like Tonari no Yokai-san. It's a very chill show, very healing show. It does get very heavy with the drama at points though. I think my only difficulty there really is I don't really care much for the ending. But it was a full adaptation, and I really did like the characters. I thought it had some very beautiful stories in it. Very Natsume's Book of Friend-esque at times, which was the reason why I was actually initially drawn to it. Highly recommend it, though. I think that's it. Everything else is on my list. So, Andrew's Mystery Supernatural list. Kicking off at number 5, Dandadan. Again, dandadan for me is much more character comedy and action, and that's why it's dominating over there. But for Supernatural Mystery, it's not very high for me, but I still think it's a fantastic series if you're looking for that, because again, it does technically have a lot of those elements in it. Number 4, I have Witch and the Beast. Very much so underrated show. I think a lot of people kind of slept on that series, unfortunately, but I thought it was fantastic. It yes, does technically struggle in the animation department, but I think they did plenty enough to keep it, looking good. It's very much so style driven, more than anything. But I really liked it. I think it was a fantastic series. It took a while to build up, I will admit. If you're watching the show, I tell people, I think, episode 4 was the Necromancer? Keep watching until you get to the Necromancer, because her story was super good. And then from that point on, it actually gets better and better. It's one of those shows that unfortunately just has... The first few episodes aren't very good. I mean, they're okay, but they're not they don't grab you. And like I said, I don't think it's until the Necromancer shows up before, you realize just how good this writer is. That's where everything really kind of takes off for me. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I really need a second season. Number 3 is Monogatari series Off in Monster Season. Yes, I have it in 3, and your people are probably going, what the hell, Andrew? The one that has literally an entire shelf of Monogatari series of Blu-rays. I love Monogatari series, and I think the first 2 stories in it were really good. Obviously, Nadeko is my favorite character, and so having literally her entire story arc was I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I thought they did her whole Nadeko Straw, right? Was it the chapter for her? Loved it. Really fantastic. The reason why it's at 3 for me, even though I love Monogatari series and I loved her story, it's the last story, which sucks because I love Shinobu. And it's literally Shinobu's origin story. And then it has this whole segment of Shinobu literally in danger because there's people showing up drained, and they're, obviously you have all the hunters coming in and they could possibly come after Shinobu. It was boring. It sucked because it was I know that even you were talking about there was a feeling of almost not having something there with not having Araragi around for the chemistry.
Right.
But it was still working for me. And then Araragi shows back up and it's this feels off. It doesn't feel like the typical Araragi. And I think it's really because Araragi was doing a lot of stuff himself. Yes, he was going around talking to people, but it just felt so bland. And I'm not sure exactly why. Even though, again, I love Shinobu and I thought it was getting more into her was going to be great, but it wasn't giving me enough. So it's right there with Hana Monogatari for one of my least favorite of this series, which isn't saying too much, but anyway, that's why it's down at 3. I still love it though. Looking forward to more, hopefully. Number 2, Apothecary Diaries. Absolutely love it. More Mamao. Just inject Mamao into my skin. Just keep bringing it in. I'm loving season 2 already, but season 1 was fantastic. I won't put it at number 1 because compared to my number 1, there is a segment in the second core that I thought was a little bit of a blah. So it's not a perfect full season. It has 4 or 5 episodes that was come on, do something, please. But other than that, it's a fantastic series. Nails the aesthetic and the setting and the power struggles, the backstabbing, the mysteries, and Mama's just an absolute dork, and I love her to death. So, my number 1, Yatakarasu. I finally get to put Yatakarasu in one of my lists. I don't think I got it anywhere else. I love Yatakarasu. I thought it was a phenomenal series, and I'm going to spell it out because everybody goes, what is he saying? Yata, Yata Garasu. Yatagarasu. It's such a great series. It's super intriguing world. a world of people crows and their power struggles. They have like all these princesses from each of these regions coming in to, court the prince and become the next queen. People are trying to assassinate the prince before he becomes the king because there's certain groups that thinks that he's dangerous. He's like this true crow thing, and it goes in this. It gets all that stuff with the whole thing with the princess selection thing, and then it goes into the second core, where suddenly out of nowhere, these crazy beasts show up, and then crap hits the fan, and like they flip the table, and I'm going, holy, what are you doing now? It's one of those ones where the writer, it feels like as they go along, they get better and better and better and better, and it's like, please give me another season. Like you were this is so freaking good. Please give me another season. It's a good stopping point, honestly. But they've hinted at like a bigger world, and I'm like, I need more like now. So it sucks that we haven't got an announcement yet. It was technically the second volume of the series, and I really want more. So easily my number one for Mystery Supernatural. All right, what do we have next? Magical Girl, Magical Boy. This is going to be an easy one, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Go ahead, Chris. Tell us the obvious.
Number 3, I have Magie Lumiere. Number 2, I've got Magical Girl and Evil Lieutenant. And number 1, I have Gushing Over Magical Girls. All three of them, each are special in their own way. I love that each one of them are kind of presenting a different aspect of Magical Girls and really kind of bringing its own into what it wants to do. And I really do like each one for their own special way. Magical Lumiere for corporatizing the Magical Girl universe. Magical Girl and Evil Lieutenant for kind of playing with the rom-com aspect of it. And Gushing Over Magical Girls for kind of presenting the kind of descent into creating an evil lieutenant, basically. So yeah.
Did we not have what was that isekai where the guy created Netflix in another world? That was 2023, wasn't it?
I don't know it.
He was the one that got the OP box. And the box that like did everything, and like immediately when he was a baby, he literally put one of the magical boxes into his throat so that he can talk to the big demon that was attacking him, and then he beats the demon. Then she becomes like his trusted maid. I think that was 2023. I was trying to figure out another magical girl because I'm one short of having 5 magical girls. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But I think that was 2023. I was gonna make because she's obsessed with magical girls, so she like dances as a magical girl in front of the screen and stuff like that. I just remember that from the intro. So I was trying to find something. Anyways, my list. My list. We'll call frieren a magical girl. We'll just put frieren over here. That's a very loose term of magical girl. But no, my list is number 4. I have Acro Trip, which that's literally the only place it's going to go. And I think it had some funny moments early on. I like it's kind of like a very PG-13 version of Gushing Over Magical Girls with the magical girl obsessed girl becoming the villain. But it, unfortunately for me, it kind of loses its flavor later on. Mega Lumiere is super good. That's my number 3. I think it was a great kind of bit, yeah, like you said, corporatizing magical girls. It's bad guys show up, magical girls fight it, and then suddenly, oh yeah, by the way, we can make money doing this, so let's make a company that hires magical girls, and they fight people, and they bring back the baddies, and we put it in the machine. Very Ghostbusters like. My number 2, and I'm super happy it's getting second season. Number 2, I have Magical Girl and Evil Lieutenant. Used to be arch enemies. Super great series. I've talked to death in the previous part. Go check out that. I gushed the hell out of it. But over there, it's a phenomenal series. Visually beautiful. Rest in peace, the creator. They did a phenomenal job of creating easily one of my favorite stories and magical girls that I've ever watched. And then my number 1 is Gushing Over Magical Girls, obviously, because it's hilarious. I didn't mention it earlier, but yes, Gushing Over Magical Girls is easily one of the funniest, raunchiest, doesn't hold anything back, and I love it for that type of series where it's literally Utena, who is the main character, is obsessed with the magical girls, gets recruited by the bad guy. Why can I not think of his name?
Now you're making it to where I can't, but...
What?
tip of
Cube.
my tongue. Cube.
I'm thinking of Cube. The evil Cube shows up, and I mean, it literally I almost thought that the seiyuu for the two of them was going to be the same. Like, nope, it's not the same. But no, the evil Cube
totally been.
It should have been. That would be great. Shows up and turns her into the evil villainous villain, and then she has to be forced to fight because he literally blackmails her to have to fight the magical girls, and then she finds out that yes, she actually enjoys seeing them suffer and struggle. So she actually gets an enjoyment out of it, and it just snowballs into literally the creation of the villain character that just wants to see them in pain and struggling and just the many Uchina faces was literally what made that series so freaking phenomenal. Her crazy, goofy nature, and the seiyuu absolutely nailed it. She's an incredible seiyuu, and I want to see more of her in other series, but it was great. Yes, it's super raunchy. If you don't like ecchi, do not watch it. But I love the hell out of it. I thought it was freaking hilarious. So, yeah, loved it. Love it. So that's my number one magical girl of the year. It's so sad. There's going to be somebody out there that like, oh, there's an anime of the year. These guys are doing anime of the year. Oh, let's see what. Hey, come over here. These guys have a magical girl category. Let's see if they have Sailor Moon or Precure. What is gushing over magical girls? What?
No. You have to have this. Okay, I'm bringing up gushing over magical girls since this is.
That's what is she doing to her?
What is this?
Why don't they have clothes on? What is she doing to her? Anyways. Oh, she's tickling her. Oh, that's oh. Why is she torturing her with tickling? Anyways, we don't really have much healing and relaxing Yashike shows. We have
Fluffy Paradise.
Yeah, Chris is number one. It is only one.
Well, I technically missed out on Laid Back.
Yeah,
it probably would have been up there, but
I would for sure put number two because I only have two really, and that's going to be Laid Back Camp as my number, or my Fluffy Paradise. I put number two. I think it was cute. It definitely had a lot of fluffiness to it. I think it tries to get too serious towards the later part. Like they have this whole thing with like trying to save the beast folks and stuff, and it gets like super kind of like violent. But for the most part, it's just very fluffy, like the name leads you to believe. But number one definitely would be Laid Back Camp. It's literally like the epitome of just relax and chill with them as they walk around. And I do think that season 3 was way too focused on running around different locations and spotlighting places like advertisements. But it still had that vibe. I hope that if they do another season, they'll get back to kind of just chilling. Just go chill at a lake and just chill. Just chill. Cute girls doing cute things. I only have one. Blue Archive. You can't beat the cute and funny and the cute and cuteness of Blue Archive characters. And I know, granted, again, it's cute girls doing war crimes really, and robbing banks and taking hostages so that you can taking hostages from other schools just so that you could force them to have to transfer to your school so you can keep your school open. That kind of war crime stuff, but it's still cute girls. I love the Blue Archive characters. I loved Blue Archive anime because for those who don't know, I play the game. But I'm a story skipper, which totally triggers so many people out there, and I love it. I love being a story skipper because it triggers people. I'm a story skipper, so watching Blue Archive, the anime, was like my first time experiencing the story, and I absolutely fell in love with characters that I never cared for before. That was the great thing about it. It was like, I never cared for like characters like Aru, and I'm like, oh, I really like this character now. I want to roll for her. I immediately roll her banner when it was up at the time. It's just super cute. I love it. So I'm hoping we get more.
I went ahead and tossed Fluffy Paradise up in there, and I think it's an absolute adorable show when it's Nefertima just doing whatever. And yeah, I like Andrew said, it does have this kind of weird dark part, but for the most part it was just her going around and trying to pet every daggum creature in the world.
Her sole reason for living, to pet soft. I mean, that was literally how the story opened up, was like, do you have this wish or something like that? And she's like, what was it, her parents had a cat or something like that, and she's like, I want to touch fluffy things. So like, okay, I'll give you the ability to draw every fluffy thing to you, even though it's literally more than just fluffy things that come after her, because like dragons are drawn to her. We did not really have much shorts. I mean, there's shorts, but like shorts that stood out to me. Like we had that ReZero shorts, which kind of more annoyed me than anything. Which I would probably say that would be up there just because they had massive like story reveals in the shorts for the ReZero. That's sort of like the ReZero season 3 in general. It's literally it's going in the winter. I don't know if they'll separate the two of them. But yeah, obviously, Magical Girl Evil Lieutenant easily dominates the best shorts for the year, hands down. So
Yeah, I put it as number one, and that was about the only one that I could think of. I don't think I watched any other short.
I'm double checking. There's like not really anything else. Yeah, I don't see anything else. All right, so animation. Oh, this is gonna be the tough one. You're already done though. You've gotten ahead of me. What are you down for animation?
I in a lot of cases, I this one was, like Andrew said, it's kind of tough because there's a lot of them that just look really fantastic, and I kind of took this as a moment to reflect on when I went, oh my gosh, this is breathtaking. And that's in a lot of cases what I kind of marked as, because I did put Dangers in My Heart up there at one point, and then I kind of knocked it back down.
I think with Danger in My Heart, because this is a good thing to bring up right now, Danger in My Heart it's not animation. I think it's more art because they did well in hiding the fact that they weren't like hyper animated. Because be honest, for me, at least for season 1 for sure, or season 2, I'm sorry, season 2 for sure. Like besides maybe like the intro, which I thought was like the OP was so freaking good. For the most part, it's a very kind of subtle animation show. It's very much so about like filters, directing the visuals, and the perspective shots, not necessarily like flow of animation.
Yeah. Either way, it does look good, and so to give a honorable mention to that for sure. But as I kind of was doing this out, I was trying to kind of, a lot of these are just beautiful, just breathtaking moments in a lot of cases. And I can always think of just certain moments in particular, especially in a lot of them. Anyway, number 5 is going to be Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious?
Delicious.
Delish.
I forgive me. My tongue went in 2 different directions at the same time.
Delicious relish.
My number 4 is going to be Undead Unluck. Number 3 is frieren. That is, by the time you get into frieren, there was some really breathtaking animation scenes in that show, and I cannot tell you enough. If you just want just pure Sakuga, these last 3 I think were absolutely phenomenal. Wistoria was definitely, there's a lot of different spots in there where I was like just absolutely dumbfounded. And finally, Solo Leveling. It's absolutely amazing how much money they dumped into these shows, for sure.
This is a tough one. Very, very, very much so tough one. In the short list I have down here, I have Solo Leveling, which you mentioned, Danger in My Heart, which again, I kind of make my arguments for that not being like overall like constantly high animation. It's just a very beautiful show. More art for me. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. That show's animation is at times was like way more good than it should be for that stupid show. Frieren Beyondra's End, obviously, Apothecary Diaries, Undead Unluck, Delicious in Dungeon, Urusei Yatsura, Kaiju number 8, Demon Slayer Training Arc, which had a really incredible later part, Mushoku Tensei, Seventh Prince, Saneuphonium, Spice and Wolf, Wistoria, Makeine, Elusive Samurai, Magical Girl Evil Lieutenant, which, my gosh, that show is more gorgeous than it should have been. Again, I'm probably going to put that more in the art area. Dungeon People, which had some really good animation points too. Dandadan and Ram 1/2. I regretfully am not going to have Solo Leveling. I think it has some really good animation points in there, but there's a couple of rough points in it. It's not always like high caliber stuff there, but I think it is a really good show, visually. The other ones that I'm dropping out of here that I regret, Kaiju number 8 has some really good animation points in there too. Like I said, Demon Slayer, it's really like the later part. And again, that's a disqualified right now, right? I think we're at 50 yet, are we? Either way, I wouldn't put it in the list. It just had like a really great animation piece towards the later part of it. Most of it's just okay. Still looks good though. Really, really good. High budget on Demon Slayer as always. Mushoku Tensei. Sorry, the last fight was super freaking good, but Mushoku Tensei has not been Bind has not been doing like crazy Sakuga with Mushoku Tensei since season 1, but it's still has some good Sakuga in there as well. What else? Seventh Prince is way better freaking looking than it should be. Seventh Prince looks Seventh Prince in its season was like everybody's looking at Seventh Prince and going, why couldn't my show get that budget? I don't know why the hell they poured that much budget in that show. That show, the animation was insane for what it is. Other than that, with story, I agree with Chris. Looks really, really good. A lot of really great action scenes in that one as well. Elusive Samurai, unfortunately, I'm not going to put it on my list. It's got quite a few really gorgeous animation pieces, especially like I always mentioned that fight in that one room where he's zooping around the dude. Oh my gosh, the animation was incredible. It also uses nasty ass CGI here and there, and I wasn't too much of a fan with like that whole horse competition thing was just ugly CGI for most of the part. It's still incredible though, still incredible. But what ends up in my number 5 or my top 5 list is Delicious in Dungeon. I think Delicious in Dungeon is one of those cases where it's consistently incredible animation, like all the way through it. Just again, if you don't want to give Delicious in Dungeon anything, you give it incredible animation and just way too good of like actual world building to the actual story itself or the world itself. But I think it looked incredible. Some of the most incredible set pieces as well. Makeine is my number 4. Just overall, in general, that show just like consistently looked gorgeous all the way through. Visually, the character's animation. This is something that we bring up every now and then that kind of surprises some people, so I like to explain it. There's some cases where just like these regular rom-coms or like cute girls doing cute thing type of shows or just comedy shows get in our top 5 list for animation. And I think a lot of people get it kind of twisted in the idea that animation is crazy action scenes. It's got to be combat sequences, right? It's Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Animation's like overall, like the quality itself. And there can be cases where rom-coms or just general stories about characters in a school setting or something like that can hit this list. And that's because expressiveness, the characters look alive, their hair is constantly moving. And Makeine was a case of that. Like this show, like I think a lot of why it hits and connects to you is because it just visually looks incredible and it's animated so damn well. The character expressiveness was insane with that show. Same with Sound Euphonium, which we'll get into in a minute. 3 is Dandadan. Dandadan, cannot dispute that show looked absolutely stunning, absolutely incredible. If I had to have any argument, it would be I don't care much for the monochrome look or the single color monocolored look to it at times. But its action scenes were incredible. Like just them escaping and running away from like Turbo Granny early on, just the music along with it and the animation, just them running through the city was absolutely incredible. Had some really good, like so many good action points throughout the series. I loved it. My number 2, Sound Euphonium. Kyoto Animation's very difficult to beat. It's very difficult for any studio to really beat Kyoto Animation. They have a polish of their own that really no other studio can really beat. And they showed it once again with Sound Euphonium. The show just looked absolutely incredible. The attention to detail is where it's at with them. Everything in the background that you look at just looks like it took somebody just personal, tender, loving care drawing every single object in every scene. The backgrounds, the character designs, the visuals are just, it's hard to beat. And somebody beat it. Because yes, number 1 is Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Words cannot express how freaking beautiful Frieren Beyond Journey's End was. From the very first episode for its an entire 2-core run, this show looked so freaking phenomenal. Just some of, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's almost like one of those things that makes you kind of for us that got to watch shows during the golden age of anime, it was like those 90s where it felt like these studios were, the producers were really kind of pumping insane amounts of money into anime, and they were just pouring and pouring money into anime that could not be sustained. And what came from that was some of the most gorgeous 2D hand-drawn shows that unfortunately we will never get to see again. Forever and Beyond Journey's End was like an example of like, holy crap, they can still do that. Like, they can still do that where every single frame looks like somebody just put so much freaking care into it. Visually, it was stunning. And yes, had some of the most incredible fight scenes ever. I said this back when it was airing, and I was sort of comparing it to other shows, other action shows at the time. But what sets Frieren's action scenes aside from other action series is that, like, for example, it was the last fight, the big epic climactic fight at the very end of this first season. Had Fern and Frieren fighting a certain foe inside of this little kind of coliseum. And what was so incredible is, despite the fact that so much damn magic was hidden all over the damn place, I always knew where the characters were at. And I think it's something that a lot of shows kind of lose track of when they have like these big epic fights where characters are getting thrown through buildings or massive explosions are happening. In a lot of cases, I almost feel like it's just crap flying around the screen. I don't really know where the characters are at. I don't know where they're positioned. I don't know if they're winning. I don't know if they're losing. With that fight, even though so much chaos was happening, I knew exactly where the characters were. I knew what they were doing, and it felt cohesive. It felt the action felt cohesive. Hats off to Madhouse. Madhouse, right? Madhouse?
Which one?
Frieren.
It wasn't White Fox?
No. No. Hell no, ain't White Fox. Madhouse, yes. Madhouse. Okay. Hats off to Madhouse.
I'm sorry. I'm losing track of
incredible.
everything, okay?
I was like, White Fox. White Fox is like ReZero, right? Question mark? White Fox is ReZero, right?
I don't know.
Yes, okay. I'm not crazy. I mean, they do credible with that, but anyways,
you made me lose. You made me lose a whole bunch of otaku points.
I shouldn't have called it out. If it weren't me calling it out, it's gonna be somebody else. So it might as well be me. Anyways, that's my animation list. Artsy fartsy stuff. This is where I would probably put more. If I was like being a little bit more like not reliant on like actual animation just for like the style itself, this is where I would probably get into something like Danger to My Heart we were mentioning earlier. Placement though, I'm gonna stipulate here. I don't know if we changed this last time, but I'm gonna put this category as more like art and direction, like where it just feels like in some cases it's more about how they work with what they had rather than just having an incredible like team of people and crap amounts of budget. Not crap amount, like a butt ton amount of budget, like tons of money and timing. When they don't have the utilities that came with Frieren, because holy crap, it felt like they worked on that for like 3 years. It seems like. I would probably in this category, I'd want to raise up a couple of things that I honestly was very impressed by throughout the year. Yeah, I think I just want to raise these four up. I don't know if you had anything for art and direction.
I don't think so.
I would say I only have 4 in my list. I'm probably sure I can probably find something else if I dug around, but the ones that I would want to definitely, I'm gonna put this in here. Ron 1/2 looked animation wise was really incredible, but I want to give a massive shout out to the team that worked on the remake of Ron 1/2. I think that they absolutely nailed the style while again technically bringing it to a modern audience, because to be perfectly honest, that old style for a lot of people is a little hard to kind of stomach, and they obviously want to get a new audience with this remake. But I think it was very much so true to the style of the old stuff, while again kind of modernizing it, which I think they did a great job. It's just like Urusei Yatsura's remake they did a great job for that. There's also like Ushio and Tora and whatnot. I talk about these every time, but I think it looked great visually. The style They captured it. It looks fantastic. Great job. Number 4, I would put Days of My Stepsister. That show, holy crap, the director. I think I looked them up at the time, but definitely a director I'm going to keep an eye out for if I can remember, because holy crap, they did an incredible job of really portraying the mood of that series, because it's a lot of people would say that show's an extremely slow show. It's very atmospheric. So a lot of people aren't going to be able to stomach it, but if you are a fan of that kind of atmosphere, it's telling a story with its atmosphere, and was so beautifully directed. There's so much story being told in the scene, how every single pause in their conversation happens, every shot of a hallway. It is a very atmospheric show, and they did a great job with it. So I put that number 4. I'd probably even put it at number 3 over Danger My Heart, but I have it on my list right now with Danger My Heart. Because I think with Danger My Heart, it's like a culmination of everything together. It is the music, the timing of the music. It is just putting aside my love for the characters and the romance and the story itself. The portrayal that the studio itself and the directors did with that story spoke volumes for how you can take a source material and give it a new life in animation form. Again, the timing on the music itself that just increases the amount of tension in the actual scene itself. Like I keep telling people all the time, the moment that he gets up on that stage and walks onto the stage and he sees this internal self sitting there, and he's just like, get up here. The one that loves you the most is me. And I'm like, holy crap, this was such an incredible scene. And it kicks in the music and it's ramping up, and all the characters looking, and I'm crying over here. To every scene, the attention to detail, and bringing that manga to an animated format, they did a stellar job with it. So, and again, even though it's not like the most incredibly animated series, it's just how you utilize what you have. Number 2, Yatagarasu. I just think overall visually that show is super unique and super beautiful in a lot of cases. It's not the most incredibly animated show, but I just love the style of it. It oozes the style and the setting that it's in. And number 1, obviously, Monogatari series. I didn't think it would come back. Chris, I thought Shaft was dead. Be truthful, I thought Shaft was dead. I'm like, we every now and then we're going, man, when are we gonna get another Monogatari series? And I'm like, no, we had like all these terrible shows from Shaft. I think Shaft as a studio is dead, and it came back. And Monogatari series, off a Monster season, was like, it felt like the old Monogatari series, even though it's not that old. We're talking like, what, 4 years since the previous one? It just feels like it's been so long, but going into Off a Monster season, it felt like it was Shaft again. I'm like, holy crap, this is the directors and the team that I loved from Shaft, just doing another series of Monogatari series, and it's just off the walls, bonker visually, great storytelling and everything with it. So that's my art and direction list. Concept? What do you got for concept? Which, for those who don't know, concept is typically, unless we have changed it, concept is like things that have like something about it that's super cool. Even though if the show itself didn't actually turn out good, it could turn out good. You didn't have to use mine.
Huh?
Your concept list.
My concept list?
You have a concept list. What is your favorite concept list?
Okay, I went ahead and pulled them together. And like Andrew said, this is just interesting concept, not necessarily whether or not they pulled it off. So I'm going based on that and based on that alone. Number 5, I've got Go Go Loser Ranger. I really liked the idea of the mobs from pretty much your Super Sentai groups kind of trying to undo the situation that they were kind of stuck in. I thought it was a really interesting concept. Basically, guy just is weak to a little pebble hitting him. And he could die, but they just keep trying to kind of fight the system and show that there is something going on deeper than that. Number 4, I'm going to put Gushing as over Magical Girls. I really like I said, I really liked the concept of delving into the evil side and actually kind of giving it a story. Number 3 is going to be Solo Leveling. This one was weird because I When I first heard of the concept of solo leveling, I was not really all that intrigued by it. I admit that there is an interest in the idea of kind of the merging of the world with the fantasy element and kind of breaking out of the mold and going into an OP power type leveling type thing. The idea of it at face value is not super interesting until you actually look at what they're showing you. And when you actually look at it, it's an intriguing concept. And so it's kind of, to me, a middle of the road, but an interesting concept nonetheless. Number 2 is going to be quality assurance in another world. This one, when it was actually presented, if you watch the first episode or two, it has a really interesting concept. The idea of the debugger going into a kind of a VR world, or kind of going into some kind of a world and actually living in there. And it, by all accounts, it sells itself as a really interesting concept. Number 1, I have Magie Lumiere. Absolutely loved the idea of the basically corporatization of the magical girls and actually digging into it from the brooms, the programming, the magical transformations, actually programming and selling effectively open sourced magical spells and all that stuff. I really liked the concept. It was just brilliantly done.
I'm pretty much on the same base as you are for my list for concept, since you pretty much stole all of mine. Was there anything that you didn't include? Solo leveling, I think it's a good concept. I will admit, like, the first season didn't really execute on as much as I wanted it to. Like, early on, it felt like it was, because it was all about, like, him explaining the system in a way. Like the whole quest thing. Like, yeah, if he has this quest for doing this, obviously finish the quest, it restores his health. So it's like he utilizes that mid-combat in order to kind of give himself a free heal, essentially. That stuff was, like, really cleverly used. I feel like I didn't utilize it enough for it to really kind of go on my list. I agree with you. I do like the concept of Go Go Loser Ranger. Again, another one where I don't think that they executed on it as well as I'd hoped, because it gets in that whole, like, training arc, and it's like, just keep to what you're doing over here. I like the idea of him literally just wanting to take them down. I'm not sure if I like the direction it's going, but again, it has a good concept there. Train at the End of the World, super, super interesting concept. It's very kind of Kino's Journey-esque, where it's like each place they go to, each stop on this train, because the world's been distorted, every stop on the train is like, this world, this particular stop, this town is affected this way by the alteration. Like, everybody's super tiny compared to them when they come in there. So they're giants. This place, everybody has mushrooms on their head that, takes away their life, but it makes them feel happy, and just weirdness to each one of the worlds. Really cool concept there. Or again, a lolly girl becomes like an idol to all the zombies and kills them with her pantsu. So weird. Quality assurance, again, another one. I think it started off, it's a really interesting concept, and I think they utilize that gimmick very well, like him basically utilizing bugs to beat people. It was really fun. Demon Lord 2099, I love it. Like, the world itself is, I think, a lot of why I enjoyed that entire concept there. And I desperately want another season. So I think if I were to change something from Chris's list, I'd probably put Demon Lord 2099 probably above Soul Leveling for me, and bump off Go Loser Ranger. But I think his list is pretty solid. So that's concept. Originals. I feel like I'm missing something, but I have my short list for originals as Bang Bang Bravern, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, Train to the End of the World, Negative Positive Angler, Girls Band Cry, and Metallic Rouge. I think Bang Dream is my go is also an original. Bang Dream, it's my go. It's my go. Oh, I probably made somebody so mad saying that. It's my go. It's a mixed media project, which makes it technically an original because it didn't have a source. And that, I guess that's the other thing, is like, what other... See, usually I'll go by the title of the listing of original, but technically mixed media projects are also originals. So I'm probably going to end up missing something, aren't I? I'm going to set people off again if I put Bang Dream as my go above Girl Bang Cry. Or I'm going to set one person off. We have one person in the Discord does not like that I think Bang Dream is my go is better than Girls Bang Cry. I like both of them for their own reason. I've talked about this before. Is like Bang Dream is my go. I think I love the vocalist and her story so freaking much. I don't care much for the other characters. Whereas like Bang Dream is my go. Is I like all the characters but the main character. So it's like a split there. Jellyfish definitely going up here. Bang Bravern right here. Negative positive angler there. Bang Bravern. Move down to here. I have one more slot, and we all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. I have one more slot, and we all know what's going to happen. For Andrew's, that was kind of an easy one to put together. For Andrew's top 5 originals of anime of 2024. Number 5, I messed up. Number 5, Bang Dream, It's My Go. Again, sorry to the 2 Girls Bang Cry fans that hate me for doing that, but I think it was for the original series definitely up there for me. I enjoyed a lot about it. Visually looked really good. It's just like Bang Dream, It's My Go is just same as Girls Bang Cry, where it's CGI and they still really did pull something off visually with them, even though they were full CGI. I just enjoy a lot of the stories in Bang Dream, It's My Go a lot more, even though it does get very melodramatic towards the later part. Number 4, Bang Bang Bravern. It was a stupid fun show. Way more fun than it had any right to be. It's very yaoi thirsty, but not to the extent that where it gets annoying. I think it was just like enough to make the comedy really hit for me, and I typically don't like yaoi comedy, so it's thirsty yaoi mechas and very Super Sentai-ish and just bonkers. It just was a bonkers show that I really enjoyed. Number 3, Train to the End of the World. Again, very interesting concept, the idea of traveling around. I loved a lot of the stories they told with the different locations they went to, especially the Zombie Girl. I think if you made an entire series of the Zombie Girl, I would freaking love it. Please make one. Number 2, Negative Positive Angler. Super chill slice of life show that I was not really expecting to enjoy as much as I did. Actually had some really good storytelling there, especially towards the later part. I had my expectations and my preconceived notions about where it was going to go early on, and they didn't do any of that stuff. In the end, it just came down to a story about somebody finding purpose, even though they feel like they're coming to the end of the road in their life. So, really solid series. And my number 1, obviously, Jellyfish Can't Swim the Night. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. Absolutely thought it was an incredible show. Great characters, great stories, through and through. Absolutely loved it. And again, the other one that people don't like me putting above Girls Bang Cry, but it's my list. You're allowed to have it on top of your list. This is my list. Sorry. Love it. All right, that's originals. The most disappointing, Chris. You got tons in your disappointing. It's a disappointing year for you, isn't it? It's a very disappointing year for you.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them over here. I've got number 4. I've got Train to the End of the World. I think it started out absolutely fantastic. I trailed off of it so many times. Andrew kept dragging me back into it, trying to get me to like it. Not necessarily trying to get me to like it. He really thought I would like it.
I thought you liked the Zombie Girl.
I did like the Zombie Girl, but that was about it. It just did not. The show in general just didn't work for me. No matter how bad I wanted it to, even the cute girls doing cute things, it just didn't pull it off for me. Number 4, I've got Quality Assurance in Another World. Just going back to what I had said a little while ago, I really liked the concept, and going into it, I was really intrigued by it, but nothing pulled off what it was saying that it was going to do. I liked the idea of living in there, being stuck as a kind of bug tester and having the admin powers, but it just when the guy started rubbing his face against the wall to find a glitch in the wall,
he's trying to clip. I like it.
That was at the point where it was like, yeah, this is not working for me. Number 2 is going to be Go-Go Loser Ranger. I really, really liked the concept of it. I just trailed off of it. It didn't work for me. And then my biggest one, oh my gosh, I loved the idea of my dear friend Nokotan. I really wanted to see it kind of flourish, but I just didn't. I couldn't find, outside of the one scene that I just rolled. It was so funny, but outside of that, nothing else worked.
All right. Again, I should have iterated earlier. Disappointing in some cases doesn't always have to be that they're bad shows. Just sometimes they are, in a lot of cases for me, shows that I had hopes for, or it started off really strong, but then at some point just kind of blah. It just kind of fell off at some point, typically is what happens. I have for my number 5, Isekai Onsen. I really shouldn't put it in the list because what expectations do you have for a show about a guy that just gets isekai'd and just chills in onsens all the time? But like I said in my video of my worst shows of the 2025 or 2024, it's literally like that was your one job, was to have cute girls, in an onsen, obviously no with clothes, and you couldn't even pull that off visually or anything. Which is the same as my number 4 is Plus Size Elf. So I'd probably put Isekai Onsen and Plus Size Elf together in a category, or in one listing, for both having the same problem. It's just your job is to be an ecchi comedy, and you're ecchi and your visuals just look garbage, and it's barely moving. Plus Isekai Onsen was they're not even 3-minute episodes. Overall runtime was barely 30 minutes, and you couldn't even hold anything together. And plus, just the comedy sucked. The writing sucked. Pacing was horrible. If it's an advertisement for source material, I don't even want to read it. That's pretty bad. With them two together, I would probably put Go-Go Loser Ranger as my number 4 because, I was super hyped for that show early on. I love the concept of him, again, essentially infiltrating the Power Rangers and trying to take them down. But again, it just gets into that whole, thing with the training camp and all that other stuff that just kind of started losing me. It definitely starts to kind of turn itself back towards the later part to something that I'm hopeful for, but there was a little bit of disappointment there. I do have my dear friend Nokotan as well. I don't really necessarily think that was really. I don't want to say that I was overhyped for that show, but you do have to admit that a lot of the freaking PVs and whatnot for it were hyping it up. It looked like it was going to be really funny, and they were doing a good job with the marketing. That show was hyped up by the marketing. They did a great job memeing the hell out of it, and the dances and all that kind of crap, the song, the brain rot, that song. In the end, it was just not funny. In the end, it just wasn't that funny. It had 2 really funny moments in the first episode, 1 funny moment second episode, and just after that, it's just well, that was fun. It was fun for a little bit there. Sad. Number 2 I have is Remonster. That show started so freaking good. Intro was so good. It was basically the other side of the Goblin Slayer. It's the goblins, just trying to. He's isekai'd as a goblin, and he's trying to rise up in the goblins' ranks, and it's build your own tribe, very, very Tenshura and then day 15, day 4, day 16, day 17, day 18,
you don't
day
have
19,
don't do it.
Dun. It's literally the caption card, and then literally a still of a character and says, "This happened today." Dun. Next caption card. It's oh god, whatever. Done. And my number 1 is a monkey.
I have this scary idea that Andrew's dun-dunning us right now.
Dun. I did that for my other video. It was fun.
I know.
It was a good joke. My number 1 is Uzumaki. Talked to this to death, but after the first episode, that show went downhill. Even the director and everybody, the producer and whatnot, they all agree. It's one of those things where it's if literally the people that worked on it are saying, hey, it was either print this or we shut it down and we decided to print it, they knew it was bad. It's an obvious sign that something went wrong with that show. They failed to nail the first episode. They nailed Junji Ito's art, but second episode on, just nope. And what do we expect? Junji Ito will never get a proper adaptation ever. Gyo is okay. Surprise. Let's go back to positive, Chris. What's the biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise I have got. On number 4, I've got Dr. Elise. Really was impressed that they kind of pulled off the Isekai and kind of setting up a girl from going from spoiled rich girl to driven girl that has a goal after trying to become a doctor in a world that's really not expecting her to be a doctor, and I think that they really kind of pulled that off. I was really impressed with it, all said and done. Very much came out of nowhere for that one. Number 3 is going to be Magie Lemire. I absolutely was impressed that they had really thought a lot of the things that they did out. Taking the time to, like I said, when I brought up the broom thing, that was probably, when they started out with the girl just being really into or having effectively photographic memory and kind of setting her up as having this natural talent for being a magical girl, I wasn't expecting when they did the corporatization of it. I think that it was the kind of the brooms going into talk to a broom technician and actually breaking down okay, this is what we're doing here and all that. And I was like, okay, maybe they put a bit more thought into this than I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that much detail into the corporatization aspect, and I really loved it for that. Number 2, I've got Delicious in Dungeon. This one was really left field. I really was expecting kind of a foodie type show in a adventure and foodie. I kind of two things that kind of work for me. I was not expecting them to randomly start explaining mimics and how mimics can be born as coins, and that can actually is actually a kind of similar to our barnacles, I think is where they were going with that. It was really left field for me. I was not expecting that. I really did. I thought that was very interesting that they went that route. I parry everything. I was going into that. I like my tank classes. I really kind of like the idea of the tank. I kind of fell behind on this one, and Andrew was like, okay, this one is actually very surprising. I went and looked at it, and I was blown away. That one really came out of left field. It's
one of those ones where, like, when I see it, I'm like, this just seems like this would vibe with Chris.
Yeah.
It seems like this has a vibe Chris would like.
And it really did work for me. I did like it. I thought that towards the end it kind of got a little bit out of control with some of the aspects, but all in all, I really enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun.
Dude, best girl list is going to suck. Oh, dude, that's gonna suck. I'm not even there yet, and I'm trying to put something together, and I'm like, I want this one in the list, but this one too, but this one, this is gonna suck. Anyways, my biggest surprise, again, things that I really had no expectations coming into it, or some expectations, and it's really it's the category of exceeded expectations or just completely left field you. I had some expectations for dandadan, so I feel like I shouldn't put it at least my number 5. It's my number 5. Dandadan is because I have a very mixed relationship with Science Saru. Like, a lot of stuff that comes out of Science Saru, I typically either am very met on, that doesn't work for me, or you have these rare cases like with Hike's story where I'm like, holy crap, this studio did an amazing job and this is like an incredible show. But for the most part, they don't work for me in a lot of cases. And so when I seen Science Saru, I seen the PVs, they look hype, and I'm like, watch, this is going to be one of those ones where it just doesn't work for me and everybody else is loving it. And I'm going to be I'm going to be outside, I'm going to be on the other side of the fence looking in going, why do they like it that much? I wish I could like it too. I want to join. it sucks when something's super like hype and everybody's loving it. Like Solo Leveling, like for the longest time was like hype levels, and it's like I wish it can get that level for me. Thankfully, second season's doing that. Dandadan worked. For the first episode, I'm like, thank you. I actually love this. I love a Science Saru thing, and it works for me, and everybody's loving it, and I'm loving it. We're all enjoying it together. I get to be a part of that group because it just works. But yeah, it was a super shock for me that in the end it turned out to be one of my favorite shows of the year. Number 4, No Longer Allowed in Another World, completely left field for me again. I had expectations it was going to be a dumb Dazai story in another world, and he's constantly throwing pills down his throat. And it turned out great. I really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the characters, the chemistry, everything about it, the concepts behind it, and everything. Number 3, Magical Girl and Illegal Lieutenant. Again, another one where I think we covered in the previews, and I'm like, okay, this looks okay. It's probably gonna be one of those like really dumb like. I assumed it was gonna be like the Power Ranger one, Love After World Domination. I was like, I just got off of like not liking Love After World Domination, and then this one comes up, and like it's gonna be like Love After World Domination. No, oh my gosh, this show is gorgeous. The character, like Yakuya, she's so freaking adorable, and another one I have to freaking add to my girls list. She's adorable. She's beautiful. The visuals look fantastic. The comedy's on point. Everything about it just works. It's short and sweet every episode. Was not expecting it to literally be again in my top list of that season. Number 2, Days of My Stepsister. Again, another one that when I came into it, I'm like, okay, it's just another siscon brocon show. Like even joked about early on where it opens up with all these other stories about brothers and sisters living together, end up with like this relationship, and this is not that story. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see. It turned out to be an incredibly in-depth looked into the relationships of, again, 2 individuals that have been married into sibling relationship, and then getting into that aspect of, yeah, can they have romance between the 2 of them, and the deeper psychological aspects they're going through. What's the blocks that they put up, how to tear down those blocks, should they have a relationship, what the effects on the families that would be. All that stuff is like super in-depth. It's not a Wincest story. It's like literally an in-depth look into what kind of relationships they can have and the effects that it has on the family. And my number 1, Yatakarasu. Another one that like, I had a little bit of vibe of Raven in the Inner Palace when I seen the cover art, and I'm like, maybe it might be. But no, it was completely blown away. The moment I fired it up, I'm like, holy crap, this is something special. Was not expecting it. It just blew me away. So love it, love it, love it. Can we skip Best Girl? Right. Can we do top 10 Best Girl? Here, let me do the call outs. The list for Best Girls I have, at least I made a long list of a bunch of possibilities, and they were all ones I like. Yamada, Danger My Heart, Riche from 7th Loop, Yamilia from Level 99 Villainous, Fenora from Witch and the Beast, which was the necromancer that I think her story was the most incredible part of that entire series, Minami from bottom tier character Tomazaki, which is the Best Girl, Fern, Fern, Ubel from Frieren, Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries, Fuko from Undead Unluck, Marcel from Delicious in Dungeon, Lum from Urusei Yatsura, Megumin from Konosuba, Roxy from Mushoku Tensei, Elise, Norn, Aisha, Nanahoshi from Mushoku Tensei. They're all incredible. Fenris from Level 2 Cheat Powers, Kui from Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, Kumiko from Sound Euphonium, Noaru from One Room Angel Included, Mutsuki, Iori, and Hina from Blue Archive, Alice from Duke of Death and the Maid, Holo from Spice and Wolf, Ruby from Oshinoko 2nd season, Yuki from Alia Sometimes Hide Her Feeling, Masha from Alia Sometimes Hide Her Feeling in Russian, from Makeine, Lemon, Yanami, Komari, Pseudo Harem, that girl from Pseudo Harem, I forget what her name is. The girl from Pseudo Harem, I forget her name. From Magical Evil Lieutenant Byakuya, like I said earlier, Luminous and Milim from Reincarnated Slime, Nadeko from Monogatari series, Shinobu, throw in there as well, Yotsugi in there as well, Mikari from 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, Ayase from dandadan, Rama from 1/1/2, Shampoo from 1/1/2, she's like was barely there, Tino and Liz from Graving Souls, Alicia from Villainous, who goes out in history, Marika from Sumisho, Kana from Magadamir, Kiki from Gushing Over Magical Girl, along with Utena, Korisu, Matama, Haruka, Sayo, and Karuko. All those from Magical Girl, Gushing Over Magical Girls. Did I miss anybody?
I'm sure. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I just went with what I could.
I wanted to give them all shout outs because they're all special.
I went ahead with my number 5 and I put Yamada from Dangers in My Heart. I think she's absolutely adorable and just absolutely perfect. So yeah, number 5.
But not number
not that perfect. Hold on. Hold your horses because I've got better. I've got number 4. I've got Fuko from Undead Unlock. She is a little bit more perfect than Yamada, obviously. Loom, because she has the
Lame.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Lame.
yeah,
Lame.
yeah. She has that verbal tick that just is just
Uchi.
She just puts her over the edge.
Uchi.
But she's still not. She's more perfect than the other two, but not quite as perfect as Mao Mao, because Mao Mao has brat powers, and we all know that brat powers just puts you just the next level. The only thing that beats brat powers is bordering on the edge of yandere, and that would be Fenris from level 2 cheat powers. You all may bow to my list because it's perfect.
You just like the OP for that show.
Huh?
You just like the OP for that show.
The LP.
Yeah, Dama-sama.
Yeah.
Dama-sama.
She's perfect. She's bordering on the edge of yandere. She's not yandere. She's bordering on the edge.
I'm still at 7.
Well, I would have put I'm gonna give you a little bit of leeway. We all know that pretty much all 3 of the girls from Shoko Tensei are absolutely phenomenal. So they just are given.
What, Nanahoshi, Roxy, and Edis?
Yeah, you suck.
Who else?
Sylphie.
Oh, Elise. I got you. The elf, Elise, I forgot. Yes, Elise is incredible too.
Y'all have ruined him. Y'all bashed him to death, and now he won't even acknowledge the existence of Sylphie. Keep it up, people.
I just did. Elise, she's great.
Yeah.
I like her. It's great. Oh, you mean Aisha? Yeah, Aisha's super up there too. Aisha's super good. Anyways, I'm just gonna have to cut off. I'm just gonna have to cut the end off. Like
you're gonna cut Mao Mao off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, Chris. I gotta.
I don't know you anymore
because all the other ones that are still on the list.
You won't even acknowledge Sylphie, and now you're cutting off Mao
Utena. I'm gonna cut off Utena from Magical Girl, Gushing Over Magical Girls. I think again
that one was a tough one. I kind of really wanted to put her up
character. It's really the Seiyu, like the faces, like they nailed it so well. Yeah, and I'm cutting off Mao Mao. As much as I love Mao Mao and her goofy nature, because number 5 is Frieren, a Frieren Beyond Journey's End. It's just she's an absolutely incredible character. I think she's pretty much the embodiment of what the series is this basically this person, long-lived elf, pretty much cutting herself off from socializing with people for a purpose of this goal, and then at some point going off to defeat the Demon Lord, and then realizing all the things that she missed because of that, and then her slowly learning that personality, meeting people, reliving those experiences, those memories. She's an incredible character. I love her to death. She's cute too. Yamada is my number 4. Absolutely I want to obviously with most of these top 5 lists for best girls and best boys, there's a struggle between loving them for the comedic nature or the goofy nature of them and then loving them for their story. And Yamada is all about, like, yes, her goofy nature, but it's also her story. She's just, I love her to death. I love her goofiness. I love her insecure nature that she has every now and then. She's adorable, and just overall with the character and the story itself is incredible. Number 3, Yuki of Roshidare. She literally made that show, and I think every little scene that she was in was pure gold. I wish she was the main heroine character of the show. That way they could just focus on her. But she's great. I love her personality. Literally every week I was looking forward to the show coming out just so I can find more clips of her, because She's just a little gremlin, and I loved every scene that she was in. Pretty, I'd have to think about it, but she'd probably go down as easily one of the, if not the best sister character in like all of anime that I've ever seen. I just loved her character. Number 2, Holo. Easy. Holo is literally like one of the greatest waifus of all time. Like, I mean, I don't even know why I don't have her at number 1. It's a struggle between number 1 and number 2, but she's like a legendary classic like waifu. Like she stood the test of time. Like we literally had an adaptation of her, of Spice and Wolf. I mean, we had an adaptation of Spice and Wolf so long ago, and literally every year there's like 5+ figures that release for her every single year until this readaptation. It's obviously for a reason. She's an incredible character. Her model's great. Her personality is fantastic. Everything about her is perfect. So, my number 1, obviously, my recent number 1 waifu, Roxy Magurdia. Thankfully, Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Part 2 had the reappearance of Roxy. Spoilers. And I loved the reappearance of her. And yes, basically having her be literally like the key the key to literally overcoming an incredibly troubling moment for the character and their stories at this particular moment. And I think the anime really nailed her character in that particular moment. So, get it? And I'm joking. Love her. Roxy. Best girl. My new favorite waifu right now. Best boy? This is actually probably going to be very easy because there's a lot of really good freaking male characters last year.
All right, I've got, for number 5, I have Andy from Undead Unluck. He's just a generally good boy, and
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
It's a good boy.
And he is just a goofball and a half. I really love all of his comedic timing, his kind of crazy. Just I almost just am amused in general, just seeing him find different ways to deal with situations just with whatever he can. And throwing off throwing off Fuko is just great. Number 4, I've got Lawrence from Spice and Wolf. Absolutely love that show. So yeah, I have a real big soft spot for that. So Lawrence, it was easy for him to get a spot. Cliff from Mushoku Tensei. I think Cliff is probably one of the. I think he has a certain amount of people that recognize his kind of what he does for the story as being a character that effectively Rudy has as a male friend who's just there for him, just like Zenobia. Yeah. He's in the same kind of boat. I think Cliff is just works a little bit better for it. But yeah, I think both of them are absolutely fantastic, and I think that they are just both really good boys, and I like seeing them on the shows. Ichikawa, I think that those two characters are absolutely adorable, so it was kind of natural for Ichikawa to get kind of a spot here too. And then finally for number 1, I have Stark. Stark is, poor boy, having all those girls and just dealing with it. Yeah. Love it.
And they always blame him. He's like, "What did I do?"
Right? It feels so natural. Yeah, I love his kind of. I don't even know what to do.
Why is she mad at me again? For my best boys, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna have 2 Mushoku Tenseis in here, and that's because we had the bros. Or the bros. Obviously, he already covered up Cliff. I'm gonna cover Zenoba, because Zenoba, I think, for me, technically, to make it real here, is like with Zenoba, that's like, this is the point in which he kind of, his first moment to shine. I mean, you technically have them going to get the automaton, and he immediately kind of steps up and says, "Hey, I want to be more useful than just my money. I want to be useful to you." He literally shines that whole segment, and it shines again once we get to the whole situation with Nanahoshi. He literally, like, without question, just steps up there, picks up Nanahoshi and says, "Let's go. Where are we going, master? How can I help you?" He's constantly at his side trying to help his master out. being Rudius, again, his master in magic and crafting figures. He's just a good boy through and through. Zenova is an absolute I love his character. He's kind of one of those characters where it seems like he's so off and he's weird, but he's got heart in there. He just wants to do whatever he can. So yeah, I put him up there for me. I also have lost my list here. Lawrence from Spice and Wolf. I agree. I think he's just a great dude overall. I give him mad respects for not touching Holo. This dude's got some massive self-control because damn. But yeah, he makes some dumb mistakes, but he's just a very fascinating character in his craft and getting into, doing the trade that he does and everything. So my number 3, I have Rudius Grey Rat. I think this is definitely one of those pinnacle points in the story of Mushoku Tensei where you really do get to see him at his worst and still trying to get back up on his feet and walk again. I give mad respect to Refugin and the writing of Mushoku Tensei to have Rudius be in those situations and really reflect on his own mistakes, realizing his own mistakes once again, and it definitely was one of the biggest gut punches of Rudius' story in his new life yet. So yeah, love it. Number 2, Nukumizu. I think Nukumizu is easily like one of my favorite harem quote unquote protagonist, rom-com protagonist character that I've seen in a long time. Like it's so easy for rom-coms to really get it's so easy for their focus to be in selling the female characters that the male characters end up getting lost, or they just put little effort into them because their focus is just to make really cute chicks the main guy. But Nukumizu overall is a very, very solid main character in the idea that he just does the right things that he needs to do at the right time. And it's never really like he's a magic maker. It typically with a lot of these characters when they're having a difficulty or a problem they're going through, a heartbreak obviously, because the story is about heartbreak, he just kind of goes in there, and in a lot of cases he's just there. A lot of cases he's just there, or he just says one simple thing or something like that, just to kind of put a word in there and just to be present. And I like that. I think overall he's just been a very fantastic character with a quirk that he likes to obsess about water fountains. He's got to have a quirk. He's got to have a quirk. And my number 1, Ichikawa, Danger in My Heart, second season. Literally, I think besides like the end of the first season, this is literally like the massive growth for Ichikawa as a character is in season 2, and it has been a phenomenal ride. A lot of it has to do with loving yourself before you can love others, and seeing his struggles, whether or not he is grown up enough, if he's special enough, or is he good enough to be with Yamada, has been an absolute roller coaster of emotions. And at the end, he's a good boy, and I literally cheer at the screen watching him step up on that stage, pushing himself forward, learning to love himself. So easily number 1 best boy of the year. Cutest characters, Chris? So here's an excuse to get more Mushoku characters in here.
Yeah, right. Well, that gave me a spot to put Norn for sure. Let me go ahead and get Vanilla out from Torture Princess. Vanilla was actually, she is a super tsundere and just kind of actually really worked in Torture Princess. She was trying to come up with tortures for Torture Princess and absolutely sucked at it. But she was really just trying to be a friend. And I really liked how she really kind of shined in those moments. I really enjoyed that for sure. Number 4 is going to be Norn. This particular season was Norn's moment of shining in that show and in that story, and I absolutely loved it. I couldn't wait to see Andrew hitting that moment in his Mushoku Mondays, and having it finally seen on video was absolutely a moment of just perfection. And I'm still getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. It was so well done. And this is the moment that I think that Norn really shined the most in that story. Ivy from Weakest Tamer, absolutely adorable. You just want to reach in and hold her tight, tell her that she's loved, and just send her on her way so she can keep going, getting into more trouble. But yeah, love it. Love her. My next one is going to be Nur Fatima from Fluffy Paradise. Just a bundle of fluff, and all the fluffs and everything is fluffy, and I love it. And then my number one is going to be Mao Mao from Torture Princess. This girl is absolutely perfect. I absolutely love her. She's like vanilla in a way, but she's even better. She just comes in with these absolutely the cutest tortures in the world, and Hime just can't fight against it. She's too cute. You just want to just give her the combination of the safe, just because she's just too cute. So yes,
and her dad is super proud of her.
And her dad is super proud of her.
And we're gonna have like the entire Demon Lord go out and have a track meet just to celebrate.
Yep.
It.
Yeah.
My cutest characters that have to be protected and their smiles be protected and everything. I would put number 5 as Ivy, a weakest tamer. I thought that she was just something special. Like, she's just absolutely adorable. It's like one of those cases where like this girl's traveling around all by herself, and she's so like so delicate. You see her get completely destroyed at times, and it's like, somebody protect this girl. Like, she goes in this town and like literally all the guards like try to help her out, and she's afraid that she's gonna get in trouble or something like that because her home village is full of the most nastiest people ever. There's like, somebody protect this girl. Somebody protect this girl. And so when she finally gets like a group of guys that are like protecting her, it's like, please protect her. And then she leaves the group, and I'm like, girl, go back and be protected. She's literally like the epitome of smiles that must be protected. Anyways, number 4, Kaju from Makeine, which is the little sister, and she's precious. Like, every time he comes home and she's literally like talking about like, did you find friends? You have friends? I don't believe you have friends. She just wants like the best of her brother. She's like literally like the epitome of supporting little sister. Love her to death. Number 3, did I put Ivy on there twice? Did I cover something else up? I must have. Shoot, let's just put Julie up there because she had like one scene in Mushoku Tensei season 2. Why not? I don't know how I ended up with Ivy on there twice. I think I meant to put Julie up there. But yeah, number 3 is Julie from Mushoku Tensei. She's absolutely adorable. I wish that they covered certain chapters like Julian Manners, which would be about that particular segment of the story, but either way, like any scene with Julie in it, it's just absolutely precious. Julie must be protected. Number 2, I have literally 3 Mushoku Tenseis in here now. Number 2, Norn, which, be honest, with these next 2, it literally is story reason 2. Norn herself and her story, especially in season 2, part 2, was absolutely incredible. When I wrote it, it literally had me crying. When I watched it had me crying again. It's the idea of a girl that feels like she can never be up to the snuff that everybody expects of her, because literally her sister's good at everything she does, and his brother is literally seen as the like incredible. Like, everything he does is incredible. He can cast spells without having to do incantations. He's incredibly powerful, and she will never live up to that. And it's literally living in the shadow of your brother and living in the shadow of your sister. And all the time that she had spent in Millis, where literally her grandmother on her mother's side is literally seeing her as like a failure of the family and never being able to live up to her expectations, literally destroyed the girl to the point where she just couldn't go outside anymore. My heart broke for her. Aisha, she's like best little sis of Mushoku Tensei. She's great. I love her mischievousness. I wish she was in the show more, because the scenes with Aisha is just too much fun. She's just a little bit of she's a Yuki character from Roshidare. She's an absolute little gremlin, constantly just teasing Rudius. Every scene that she's in with Rudius is just pure comedy gold. But I love her to death. So that's my cutest characters that must be protected. Best couple. This is another one that's pretty easy. Did you finish your best couple list?
Yeah. Go
for it, Chris.
All right, I've got Bochan and Alice. Bochan from.
I keep forgetting that finished. I keep forgetting that show finished.
I think that those two are absolutely made for each other. I think that it absolutely brilliantly done. The kind of showing that these two characters are actually into each other for more than just the physical. They're actually willing to put up with some really heavy problems to get to a relationship between the two of them, and I think that that's absolutely fantastic. Fuko and Andy from Undead Unluck is my next one, and like I mentioned earlier, I absolutely love the teasing nature of both of in particular Andy, and I love how that throws Fuko off. I think that those two are absolutely brilliant together. Were you waving at me or Yuki?
You said Andy again, so I waved.
Oh, I gotcha.
Me and Fuko get along together.
Mina and Takuma is absolutely adorable little story. My wife has no emotion. I really think that they are. I think that the story really does kind of push it past the point of can you love a robot? Yes, in a way, it kind of cheats by giving Mina some kind of a hint of emotion, or hint of the idea that she is more than what she is presented as. And I think that still works for these two. And I think that it's absolutely fantastically done.
Super Mina is better though.
Super Mina is better.
Literally, objectively, she's a better model.
Byakuya and Shun from Magical Girl and the Emperor, Evil Lieutenant. It's chopped off. Okay, forgive me. Yeah, those two are absolutely fantastic. I think that they do well in having a kind of an internal battle between the Evil Lieutenant's kind of trying to be the bad guy and just having a hard time not acknowledging that he absolutely adores this girl. And I think that they do that well. His constant messing with his eyeglasses and kind of shouting in his head, "Oh my gosh, she's too cute." I think they did that well. And it's a slow build up of the relationship between the two of them. And my number one is going to be Ars and Licia from Appraisal Skill. This one, I do adore the romance. This is kind of a cheat one in a way. I think that they didn't build up the romance, but I do think that they sold Licia and her attraction to Ars. This is one of those that, with a solid respect that she gains from watching him, and actually acknowledging at some point
he's different than everybody else,
and acknowledging that both of them are at a point where they could see each other as equals and how they could actually build a relationship. And I think that they've been respectful of actually acknowledging a relationship built for the two of them. And I think that they are absolutely adorable. The two of them, they just too cute. So yeah, I absolutely love them. So they're probably my top.
Mine, I have number 5, Byakuya and Shun from Magical and Evil Lieutenant. Pretty much on the same page as Chris. I just think they're super adorable together. Yes, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Byakuya is just completely abused to all get by this stupid freaking Kyobi character, and he has to come in and completely wreck it in order to save her from the horrible things that he's putting her through. But I just think they just work well together. Their chemistry together is just super cute. Love them to death. Number 4, Okuron and Ayase. They're not quite a relationship yet, but I'm shipping them. That's obviously the story wants to go to shipping them because Doki Dokis are happening, but I just think they're just so perfect. Like, their chemistry is just so perfect together. I want them to be like together. I want them to be happy, and yeah, it works that way. Number 3, I have Lawrence and Holo. Their chemistry is like just very hard to really beat in a lot of stories. We're obviously still the first season at this point, so the relationship's not really building up that much yet, but it's getting there. But I think their chemistry is just perfect together. So again, once another ship right there. Number 2, Roxy and Rudius, obviously, because Roxy best girl. And I think, again, this particular segment is obviously a lot to do with their relationship, blossoming from, a mentor or a teacher, Shisho, into something more. And again, definitely like the pinnacle part of this particular story and this particular volume of the original novel series. So, and my number 1, Yamada and Ichikawa. Again, I just want the two of them to be together forever. It's literally, again, one of my favorite romances of all time in anime, and I'm absolutely loving their relationship as it built up. And this is definitely was a good reason why this particular season worked for me, was just seeing that relationship finally blossom into something that was extremely beautiful. So that's best couples. It's best couples. We are done. We're done with all the other categories. It is time for the big categories. We have the seasonals and then on into the anime of the year, which I think will go pretty quickly because I think at least mine are all done. I think you've finished up all yours as well. So we're just going to be calling off things, and I have to I have to cut off the babies. Like I have all these babies in my list, and I have to cut them off because, yes, for those who don't know, for those that actually follow me on YouTube, I do my top 10 anime of every season as the season ends. And so I have all mine already made, but I did 10. And Chris doesn't let me do 10.
No.
He does
do top
5.
Yep.
Well, we always have done 5. Mm-hmm. It's just when I started doing YouTube, I started doing 10s because they're more interesting as a top 10.
He has more wiggle room when he does a YouTube video. And plus he has to bide for time anyway.
True. And plus, yes, we decided last year that I can do my top 10 for at least anime of the year. So I don't have to cut any off there. But you don't have 10. So you must think that we're still doing 5. So you can change that. But yeah, let's kick things off with winter. What is your top 5 winter 2024 anime, Chris?
All right, for winter, I have number 5 is Dr. Elise. Number 4 is going to be Gushing Over Magical Girls. Number 3 is Dangers in My Heart. Number 2 is Apothecary Diaries. And number 1... What?
I don't know why you said Apothecary weird last in part 1. And for some reason, when you said it right there, I heard how you said it back there. I'm sorry.
Apothecary?
Well, I forget exactly how you said it, but I remember you flubbed it super bad in our first part of it. It was like apothecary or something like that. We started getting messed up so bad because we kept saying it, and then I started saying it that way, and he just reminded me of it. I'm sorry.
And then my number 1 is going to be Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
Frieren.
Frieren deserves all the love it can get. It's such a fantastic story, and I can't gush on it enough. I think it's absolutely
amazing. Can't
gush over it enough.
Even
though poor Gushing Over Magical Girls is number 4. I can't.
But at least
Frieren
it's
is awesome.
in our lists,
right?
Don't worry, guys. It's in our list. There you know. This is a completely professional podcast, folks. We will not miss an entire show. Again, I have to cut it down to 5, but I'm going to cheat by saying what my other ones are because they're runners up, so I'm allowed to say them. I had Soul Leveling, Undead Unluck, bottom tier character Tomozaki, Witch and the Beast, and level 99 Villainous in my top 10 list. But unfortunately, those ones are getting cut. And we're down to 5. My top 5 winter 2024 anime shows is Ishura as number 5, which again, really incredible show. Really nice little Fate Stay Night type battler type of show where you introduce incredibly powerful people and then have them destroy each other. Number 4, Gushing Over Magical Girls. Again, super fun show, super ecchi, super spicy, doesn't hold anything back. It's raunchy. At the same time, has an incredible descent into madness that the main character goes through that is insanely good portrayed. Wish it had better budget, but we can't have everything. Number 3, Apothecary Diaries, again, absolutely incredible. The only reason it was at number 3 and not anywhere higher, even though it's an incredible show, is because, yes, in the second core, it kind of has some lulling points. But overall, I absolutely love Mao Mao. I love the stories it tells, and I love the just brutal backstabbing in the inner palace that it gets into. Number 2, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, absolutely incredible visually, storytelling, everything, the pacing, the characters, the emotion, all just absolutely incredible. Again, another one that does have a couple episodes that are kind of lulling, which all sets up for my number one, which is obviously Dangers in My Heart second season. It's just an absolutely incredible show. The romance is absolutely fantastic. Every single episode, the show just gets better and better and better and better. Never lets up. I just was not a single episode of that was not absolutely incredible. So easily my number one of winter. Spring 2024, Chris. What is your top 5 shows of spring?
In spring, I have Seventh Prince. It's my list, so I can put Seventh Prince in there. I know Andrew hates it, but I do like it. I like it.
Oh my gosh! So hold on, Chris. Hold on a second. So you're saying that Seventh Prince is better than Sound Euphonium from Kyoto Animations?
No, I'm saying I didn't watch Sound Euphonium 3 and Seventh Prince. I did watch.
Nice comeback. I like it. Touche. You're saying Seventh Prince is better than Blue Archive? No, I didn't watch Blue Archive.
No, I didn't watch Blue Archive.
True. No, wait. All the folks, those 2 people in Discord, he put Seventh Prince above Girls Band Cry.
Didn't watch it.
Good. Sorry.
Y'all can hate me, but I didn't watch it, so...
Better than Tsukimichi second season.
Tsukimichi.
So all you shonen bros out there, he put it above Demon Slayer Training Arc.
Didn't watch it.
You can sense that it's been this long of recording because you're getting antsy. She knows when we're supposed to be finishing up. She's like, are we ready to go now?
Anyway, Seventh Prince. It's my list. Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Appraisal skill. That's my number 4. Konosuba, number 3. And Mushoku Tensei as my number 2. And Delicious and Dungeon is number 1.
My poor babies that had to get cut off because Chris is mean and makes us do 5 is Blue Archive, the animation. I thought it was a lot of fun. Really well put together. A lot better than I thought it would turn out to be. And I love the characters in it. Number 9, I had Tonari no Yokai-san, Salvo of Eccentrics, which I thought was actually a very fun show, despite the fact that it has some rough points in it as well. It's a lot of cuteness in there. Girls Band Cry, and then Delicious and Dungeon. So you guys can blame Chris for me cutting off Girls Band Cry. I'm sorry, it's going to turn into an ongoing joke about Girls Band Cry. Shut up about Girls Band Cry. But no, I think Delicious and Dungeon is probably out of all those is like the harshest one to have to cut, honestly, because it's a really good show. But yeah, my number 5 is Train to the End of the World. I found a lot of the worlds or the places they go to extremely fascinating. Love the concepts behind it. I think the only thing that really kind of bogged the show down for me is the ending. I didn't care for the very last like episode or 2 episodes. I think that last arc kind of sucks, but the rest of it, I had a lot of fun watching it. Number 4, Konosuba season 3. Again, a great return of Konosuba to the hilarity that I love so much about that series. Great characters, great comedy. And I think the princess was a great addition to it. Number 4 was number 3. Number 3, I have Sound Euphonium, 3rd season. A great conclusion to the Sound Euphonium story. Fantastic conclusion to it. The great characters in it. Visually, again, stunning as always. Character drama is just totally on point. I love everything about Sound Euphonium besides, again, her season. Jellyfish Can't Swim This Night is my number 2. Again, great story about characters trying to find their purpose in life, trying to find their future, doing something that they enjoy rather than just doing what the usual status quo. Just going into art itself, coming together to work together towards a goal. The struggles they go through, all that stuff was fantastically portrayed. And my number 1, again, obviously, Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Part 2. Adapting easily one of my favorite volumes of the series overall. Just an absolutely insane volume to get into. Well, it is volumes, but volume 12, which was obviously the pinnacle part of that particular season part. So I love it to death. As usually, some things they skip, but overall was an incredible adaptation. So loved it. There you go. That's spring. Summer, Chris, what is your best show of summer 2024?
My best show? You want best
my
best show? Oh, best show.
Your top 5.
Top 5. Number 5.
Number 5
is going to be Magical Girl and Evil Lieutenant. Number 4 is going to be Oshinoko 2. Number 3 is going to be Wisteria. Something in magic. I don't know.
Wisteria, wand and sword and wand?
Wand and sword, I think.
Sure.
Okay. Number 2 is going to be...
I know it's a wand and a sword. I just don't remember which one's first. That's all I'm saying. Sword and wand.
And number 2 is going to be My Wife Has No Emotion. And number 1 is going to be Spice and Wolf.
Number 10 for my list, because Chris makes me have to cut it off. I had 10. Roshidere, unfortunately, gets cut off. Again, Roshidere, I think, was incredible, especially everything Yuki. But unfortunately, like, everything around Alya was kind of... And Alya's kind of present a lot, even though she's cute. I think Alya is super hot and cute. Don't get me wrong. It's just their writing's just... bleh. The chemistry between him and her is just not there. So that kind of bogged it down for me. Nier Automata is down there as well. I think it was an incredible second part. Days of My Stepsister was incredible as well. I had Spice and Wolf that far down. I think it's mainly because I think the reason I had Spice and Wolf at 6, even though it's like an incredible show, is I think I had it down because, again, I'm pretty much watching all the story I've watched before, and so it kind of brought my hype levels down for a little bit, but it's still up there from my top 5 for sure. But yeah, I have Magical Girl and Evil Lieutenant. Talk that one to death. Dead to Demons, Dead to Destruction. Again, really incredible show. I know a lot of people don't like it. I really enjoyed it. It's a really great little kind of people living amongst the apocalypse. It was really well executed. Number 3, Yatagarasu. Talked about it to death at this point. Really intriguing show and world. Love the characters in it as well. Number 2, Oshinoko, second season. And then number 1, Makeine. Too many losing heroines. Easy win for me in summer. I think like summer and winter were easily like the 2 seasons with like the big shows. I think most of them have like maybe 2 really incredible shows, but definitely winter was heavy. Fall, Chris, how was your fall?
On fall, I've got Acro Trip as number 5. Number 4 is Magie Lumiere. Number 3 is Appraisal Skill. Number 2, y'all are going to hate me, Notorious Talker. I absolutely love that one. So I do. I like it. I don't know how to explain it. I like it.
Poor Chris was busy.
Huh?
Poor Chris was super busy in fall. He had very few shows to watch, and Talker was just kind of one of them that he watched.
And it worked.
He's like, man, I didn't get a chance to watch dandadan because I kept making up this joke about it being Fooly Cooly, so I didn't get that one. I didn't get a chance to watch Ranma 1/2 remake. I'd probably really enjoy that one. I watched Talker, so there you go. I'm throwing Talker.
Notorious Talker is cool. And my number 1 is obviously Suma Show.
My the ones that fell off on my list is Magie Lumiere, Negative Positive Angler, Villainous Who Goes Down in History, Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, and Natsume's Book of Friends, which again, Natsume's Book of Friends technically is over the 50 episode mark, so it doesn't matter anyways. My top 5 of fall 2024 is Demon Lord 2099 is my number 5. Number 4, Beastars, the final part 1. Hopefully here in the next 3 years we'll get part 2. But it's got a good start so far from the final season. Number 3, Ranma 1/2 remake, which was, again, very beautifully done so far. Loving it. Number 2, Suma Show. Suma Show. Again, absolutely... I don't know if we really had him in any other the list. I think we had it in drama, didn't we? Just a show that just ripped your heart out. Had such great storytelling in it. Really interesting perspective of... I should have had that in the concept. I forgot about that in concept. Definitely goes in concept for just the idea, again... A very questionable way of setting it up, which is, wife being reincarnated and then having their memories come back when they're, in middle school. And the struggles that has with getting back to her family and what people would question. And she doesn't have freedoms because she has another family and she can't be with some other family. And all that stuff just kind of comes to the surface. Gets about life loss and regrets and, recovering, healing, all that kind of stuff. So, love it. And number 1, obviously, dandadan. Dandadan was easily by far, the best show of fall 2024. Just an incredible show overall. That gets us down to the number 1 anime of the year. It's not really anime of the year. It's just the top 10 anime of the year 2024.
I readjusted it for you.
I caught myself. I caught myself. What is your top best of 2024, Chris?
It's actually
Chris?
funny as I start pulling all the shows and dragging them all over into this one.
You're trolling now, aren't you? You're trolling
I actually
now,
liked
aren't
it.
you?
I'm telling you, I
Oh my
liked the
gosh.
show. You may hate it, but I liked it.
Over Magical Girl and Evil Lieutenant?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Chris, you hit your head. You're joking.
No, I'm not. I liked
You're
it.
joking.
I really liked that show.
You liked it more than Oshinoko second season?
I liked it more than Wistoria.
You liked it more.
How much have I been ranting about Wistoria?
But you like both of those more than Oshinoko second season?
As I was at... Yes, I technically did. Because you see where Oshinoko is in the list.
You're trolling.
No, I'm not. If I have to balance it out, yeah, then I technically do. I had to sit here and go back and forth on which ones I liked.
This is like, what was that one? You did this like a few years ago.
Yes.
It's just like that over and over again.
I at least I didn't put one above another one that wasn't higher in the other list. That's what you did. I did a couple of years ago, and you were like, that doesn't make sense. That was lower than this.
He's like, this time I got myself covered. I made sure all the lists are consistent, so he can't say anything about that. I ain't gonna hear the end of it again. I got this covered now.
Because I was having a hard time. I had to figure out.
Warlords of Signifer, or whatever that stupid show was that you were like you put up. What did you put it above that year? Yeah, it was Warlords of Signifer. You're like super big on that one. That was it, right? Because it was a ReZero guy. Right. It was a ReZero guy, and I was super hyped on it when we came into it, and it was like it just kind of didn't work. But you had it over something else, and I was like, holy crap, what are you doing? You're doing it again. Anyways, Chris, it's your list. It's your list. Go ahead. It's your list. Go ahead.
Number 10.
Chris's list. Go ahead.
I have Wistoria. And number 9, I have Notorious Talker, the one that Andrew wants to give me so much crap about.
All the Oshinoko manga readers that are super mad about the manga ending in Oshinoko are like, yeah, get that. Yeah. I don't know what Talker is, but screw Oshinoko.
I'm see 10, 9, 8, 8 is Dangerous in My Heart. Number 7, I have Mushoku Tensei. At number 6, I've got Delicious in Dungeon. I'm not counting backwards very well. It's just crazy.
Just say the names and go. It's fine.
Then I've got Sumisho. And then I have Wife Has No Emotion. Then Spice and Wolf. And Apothecary Diaries. And number 1 for my year is going to be frieren Beyond Journey's End.
What was it that you put? You had Warlords of Signifer as your number 4, but I was trying to figure out what you put above that we were laughing about. Was it ReZero? No, because I didn't have ReZero there. That.
Not even in a good on a bad day would I put Warlords of Signifer over ReZero.
We didn't have ReZero in our list though, so I'm wondering why it was disincluded.
I mean, you probably convinced me to
because it was only part 1. Maybe we disqualified it because it was part 1. I don't remember the decision that we made there. No, you had above a sentence of no because we put a Senate Bookworm together, so it was fine. What was it? I have to go back there because there was something funny about you choosing that. I don't remember what it was.
I know that you gave me a hard time about Warlords.
It was Sleepy Princess, maybe, because you have it above Sleepy Princess. Huh. I don't know. Maybe you went back and you changed this doc so that I couldn't reference it no more.
No, you gave me such a hard time, and I ended up finally changing it. I believe probably whatever it was.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't remember. Anyways, that's that.
Okay, yeah, what's your list? Stop looking at the past. The past is over, Andrew.
Everybody knows my list is already. It's not like the podcast listeners don't know. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I had some runner-ups, which are Yatagarasu, Konosuba,
You're still getting more in here. We are going to have a 10 list.
I always list the stuff down below. This is the one time I can't do that. Near Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night, Delicious Dungeons. We've kind of listed them before. So my top 10 list of of 2024. I'm tired. We're almost done. We're almost done. We can finally move on to 2025. My top 10 of 2024 of the entire year, anime of the year. Number 10, dandadan. Again, that one just has competition. It was a really incredible show, and that tells you what we had in competition. Number 9, Dead Demons Destruction. Again, really, really love it. I'm going to have the same problem. Number 8, Gushing Over Magical Girls. Number 7, Apothecary Diaries. Number 6, Oshinoko. Number 5, Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines. Number 4, Spice and Wolf. Number 3, Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Part 2. Number 2, frieren Beyond Journey's End. And yes, drum roll. Number 1, Dangers in My Heart, second season. Without a doubt, my anime of the year for 2024 is Dangers in My Heart. Which, as per usual, when we look at the idea of setting up an Otaku Spirit podcast top number 1 anime of the year, it looks like it's probably going to be frieren, huh? Which I wouldn't even bat an eye. Because typically, for you guys who don't know, we used to combine our lists every single category, and it just turned into a lot of like, well, frieren is my number 2 and your number 1, but my number 1 is your number 5. So obviously that one's number 1. We typically like to we at least like to figure out what the anime of the year is. And
Dangers, Moshoko and frieren are definitely probably up there.
Like, for me, what I said, like, literally in every video that I made was, like, it was the same when winter 2024. It was the same for me in anime of the year, and it's the same for me right now. When it came to making my top list for winter and the year, I came down to frieren and Dangers of My Heart are literally both, like, perfect shows. I think the only reason I was kind of giving a little bit leeway to Dangers of My Heart is because frieren has like this later segment where it just kind of has a little bit of lull point for like 1 or 2 episodes. But that was like enough reason for me to go, okay, Dangers of My Heart wins. Because Dangers of My Heart literally, especially the second season, never lets up. Like, it's incredible the entire time. It's literally like perfect through and through. But I literally had the 2 neck and neck. Like, they're both number 1 for me. Like, they're just number 1 for their own reasons. So, like, literally, when I see, like, okay, what is Otaku Spirits? Okay, your frieren's really, really high. It's number 1. There it is. There's a choice. There's no doubt. I have no hesitation to say the greatest anime for Otaku Spirit is frieren. It's just a through and through an incredible achievement of visual directing, storytelling, everything. It was literally like, again, like I said before, having something like that happen in this day and age when so many other anime are cutting corners, it feels like going back into the golden age of anime with insane budgets and everything. So,
yeah, and if you take both of those lists, except for my strange love for Notorious Talker, both lists are absolutely fantastic if you think about it. I mean, each one of them has. Andrew's got some fantastic psychological thrillers. He's got some fantastic action set pieces in there. He's got some all around, and then
he's got that dumb Fooly Cooly show.
Yeah, he's got that stupid Fooly Cooly.
Got that stupid Fooly Cooly dun show.
Over on mine, you have some of your you have Wife Has No Emotions, Suma Show. I've got some action ones over here as well. I mean, both of them are very well-rounded lists if you put them together. So
it's like we know what we're talking about, Chris. We're so well-rounded.
You think so?
Besides the fact that we missed Gushing over Magic Girl, both of our lists.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, so
no, you got Gushing on yours.
Wait, Chris. So you're telling me that Notorious Talker is better than Gushing over Magic
I know, right?
Damn it, Chris.
Well, if you look at it,
you're on your own. Everybody on the Discord that's gonna be complaining about that. You're on your own, Chris.
I know it's right. It's over here in winter, which was our one of our heaviest lists. And if you think about it, yeah,
winter was insane. Like I said before, like literally, how many of my shows right here are winter?
I mean, I
guess it's
technically
only 2.
put 3 of my winter shows are over here, if I remember right.
What is a winter? I have 3. Yeah, three of winter in my list.
Summer.
That's how strong it was.
Yeah, summer. I have 3 of my summer shows is over there too.
I have 1 of my spring shows, 2 of my summer shows, and then one fall show.
Yeah,
Dandadan's like barely holding on to the tip there. It's crazy year of anime. But yeah, with that said, we are.
Yeah, if starting out, we're already looking at what a god awful amount for winter. So we may have to. You might just end up. We might have to double all these categories as it is, because it's if it's another season or another year like this year, we might end up having to do it.
Doing what?
Doubling all the categories.
Doubling.
Yeah. Make them your 10 lists and then make it the best of the year be 20.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, that's 2024, folks. That we can finally put a nail in the coffin of 2024 and move on to 2025. Are you ready for first impressions, by the way? How are you doing? How are you doing setting up for first impressions? I was going to tell you.
It seems like I'm watching shows from the moment I get home until shortly before bed.
I think
every night.
The ones right now that are standoff that I think that you should really check out if you're not already is Flower and Asura, which is turning out to be incredible. Medalist, which is kind of out of the way. I think that's a Hulu Disney show. It's kind of off the side there. So you have to kind of
Medalist.
Oh,
the Yuri on Ice. I gotcha.
I got so much hate for making that video with that thumbnail.
Oh, really?
I got so mad. People do not like jokes. Holy crap! People do not like jokes. I'm really questioning what your definition of Yuri is.
Oh gosh.
Oh, dude, don't read too much into it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyways. There was this other one that was like, holy crap, Chris needs to watch that. It's actually been a very impressive season so far. Not like incredible. A lot of stuff's not incredible. Like Princess, Escape from Princess Lessons is actually turning out a lot better than I thought it would be.
I was surprised by that one, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it too. What was the other one? There was one other one that I wanted to tell you about. Because usually whenever I finish the podcast, Chris runs out the door, so I'm I'm forcing him on camera so he can't walk away. Kuro Iwa is turning out okay.
Kuro Iwa.
Medaka Kuro Iwa is impervious to my charms.
Really?
The monk boy.
I was thinking about looking at it, but
she's cute. It's very ecchi fun. The Married to My Girl in the class is sucking. It's not really that great.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one. I'm giving it a little bit more leeway.
You're watching Oji-san Tensei, which is incredible, or turning out to be a lot better than I thought it would be.
Oji-san
bureaucrat reincarnated.
Oh yeah, I'm watching that one. I haven't found the spy grandpa. Where's that one?
Spy grandpa?
The spy grandpa.
What's a spy grandpa?
The assassin grandpa, whatever he is. Where's that one?
The assassin grandpa? Oh, Sakamoto Days?
Yeah.
That's Netflix.
Okay. So download.
Yes, download through your higher tier subscription with Netflix. What was the other one that I was talking about? You're watching 100 Girlfriends. You're watching Apothecary Diaries, obviously. You're not watching Ishura. It's fine. Yeah, My Happy Marriages came back. Solo Leveling. Toy Bound Harakokun.
My Happy Marriage is back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is also another download through your premium subscription with Netflix. Toy Bound Hanako-kun is turning out really good right now.
Yes, I'm watching that. I'm watching a lot of shows. I guess
it was just Flower of Asha that I wanted you to make sure. Oh, That's right. Red Ranger.
Yes. That was absurd.
So
I
good.
loved it.
I like it so much. She just freaking explodes. She just flies off. Nani? Yeah, I guess it's those two. Yeah, Medalist and Red Ranger and Flower. Those are the ones I want to make sure. And Princess Lessons, which has turned out good. Okay.
I might look at Flower Vestra.
You need to. It's literally like my favorite show this season right now.
Dadgummit.
And you have to talk about it. It's only 3 episodes.
It better
so
be
far.
dang good, Andrew.
I'm trying to think of something that is equal for it that you would appreciate. I mean, it's Sound Euphonium writer. If you don't like Sound Euphonium, then
If I don't like Sound, I only love Sound Euphonium.
I only bought like the Pony Can release Blu-rays of them before my mother destroyed them in my move. But I don't like the Sound Euphonium writer. But it's not Kyoto Animation Sound Euphonium. That's the only problem that you might not like. Anyways, that was my attempt to get Chris to watch shows before I let him out here. But we hope you guys enjoyed our run through of the year 2024, and you'll join us for 2025 as we go in there. We'll next week probably jump right into first impressions because we are already a month in, and it's time to start breaking that stuff down. So I hope you guys will join us for first impressions of the winter 2025. I gotta start learning to say 2025 on the podcast. But we appreciate you guys' support. If you guys want to find ways to support us, otakuspirit.com. It's the links there. Join our Discord. We have also ways to support us there, linked in our rules section. But yes, we greatly appreciate that supports the channel. If you're on YouTube and whatnot, we have super thanks and all that kind of stuff there as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It means a great deal to us, guys. It means a lot. Until next time, I'll take care.
Os.